Hello and welcome into the WNK page. I am George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here for Weather Now Kentucky. Let me get my screen set up here. I don't know why it's going all crazy. We are live on both YouTube and Facebook tonight for a special update. You guys know we usually go live on Tuesday nights for updates, but we're going to go live tonight as well. Also, don't quote me on it, but I believe we're going to go live Saturday night as well. I know because there's a lot going on. I'm going to make sure that everyone's getting updated information because there are a lot of different things being spewed around. I want to make sure everyone's getting clear information. I think a lot of people are getting confused on which systems go with what expectations as well. I know a lot of people were kind of getting confused with the next two systems. They were kind of combining the two. So I wanted to go live tonight to explain the differences. There are some changes to both forecasts. Well, we're not making a forecast for Sunday and Monday, but I will show you the latest model data with that because there's been a lot of questions about that. The temperatures for next week are going to be a headline as well. We'll talk about that. Again, we are live on both YouTube and Facebook right now, so if I respond to a comment that you're not seeing, it's probably on the other site. I actually need to refresh my YouTube for some reason, and it's not showing me the comments. There we go. Tara on YouTube, hello from Lexington. By the way, we'll give it about 30 seconds before we dive into the information. I don't want anyone missing out on it that wants to see it. So if you're on Facebook, we have a goal of 50 shares, so if we could, there's already 140-something people in here. Please, everyone, tap the share button at the bottom portion of your screen. Get this information out to the people on your newsfeed so that your friends and family can view it as well. We do have a concern for tomorrow for a lot of wind damage, perhaps, as well as some severe weather possible. We'll talk about that. That's very conditional. But we'll give it about 30 more seconds. Over there on YouTube, hello. Don't forget to throw a like on it. Hit the subscribe button. Days to Confused Bond, hello from Hopkins County. Rhonda on YouTube, hello. Tiffany, hello as well. On Facebook, Laquina, hello. How are you doing? Michelle says hello from Waynesburg. Hello from Hardinsburg. Lisa, who's a star sender. Thank you for that. Raven, thank you for sharing the video. I appreciate that. Amanda, thank you for your 20 stars. Thank you for your kindness and showing your appreciation to the WNK team. I appreciate you. Kristen already coming in with 100 stars. They have activated a stars party. Are we going to finish a stars party before the video's even started? That might be a record. Katie Richmond, hello. How are you doing? Hoping for minimal tornado risk tomorrow. I don't think there's tornado risk, by the way, but we'll cover that for you as well. Brett County cancel school tomorrow. Tabitha, we're going to get into that too. Got to share, bud. Love your forecast. Hope you and your family are well. From hello from Monroe County. Jeremy, thank you so much for that. Amanda with an additional 29 stars. So we do have a lot to talk about. Thank you so much, Amanda, for your 29 stars. Hello, everyone. Again, don't forget to tap the share button. I've had a lot of coffee today. It's been a long week. So if I'm stuttering a lot, put the video in half speed or something because we're going. We're going tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going. Laquina, thank you for your 99 stars. I appreciate your kindness there. So, again, just to recap, what we're going to do is we do have an event there are so many stars going off, I can't even concentrate. That's a good thing, though. Holly, thank you for your 99 stars. I appreciate that and your kindness there. Karen, hello on YouTube. Dana, haven't forgot about you guys on YouTube as well. Thank you guys a lot for your help out there. So, I already got my sleeping mask coming out. Winter Storm Ridiculous. Oh, I know, Zach. So, we're going to cover that. I'm going to show you all 4 major models as well. So you guys have all the information. You're not just getting clickbait stuff. You're actually getting raw data. Now, we have not made a forecast for a Sunday and Monday yet because, like Zach said, it's a bit too early. But I'm going to show you the current information so that way you guys know exactly what the models are seeing firsthand. And you're also going to learn or see how they're all showing different things, which is why it's impossible to make a forecast yet. If anyone's made a forecast yet for Sunday and Monday, they are lying to you. Okay, or they're trying to get you to click for some more ad revenue, which we don't do that. So, what we're going to do is cover that. Tomorrow, we do have a concern for damaging winds. Also, a small window for severe weather possible. We'll talk about that as well. And I'll address a lot of your questions. So, if everyone's ready, let's get this thing rolling real quickly. Before I do that, though, I'm going to give you a quick message from Right Implement.
Property. Let us show you what it means to be treated right. Online at rightimp.com. With 15 locations throughout Kentucky and southern Indiana, we are the home place. Right Implement.
Thank you very much to them. I'm not really sure what happened to the audio at first there, but all right. So first up, what I have on your screen here, we do already have some advisories and warnings going on. I'm going to zoom it out real quick so you can see it a little bit better here. By the way, Kelly, thank you for the 20 stars. I appreciate that. I hope I didn't miss anyone else's. Thank you for all the shares on the Facebook stream, guys. We need 20 more shares. There's 400 people in here. So hopefully we can get those shares going, get this information out to the people that you trust and love as well. What I want to do here is show you the current close. There are some closings that we already have occurring. Let me make sure you guys can see it all the way. You can't. So let me go to the full display here. We're going to just, again, credit to WKYT, Wave, and WBKO. I don't have a closing display website, so we're just going to use theirs. Again, all credit to them on these 3 sites here. We do already have some school closings. We do expect some more to pop up. I don't really understand. Maybe they're just excited to finally have a chance to close schools. I've gone to school during worse conditions than tomorrow, so I'm not really sure. But not my decision. I don't talk with the schools. The only school system I talk to is Hardin County schools. Bourbon County, Jackson County, McCreary County, Millsboro, Independent, all closed or on NTI on Friday. For the Central Kentucky area, Breckenridge, Hancock, and I'm sure more will be added to that as well. And out there for Southern Kentucky, Edmondson, both sets of schools there have already closed as well. And again, we do expect more to go ahead and be added to that as well. And then again,
for everything you
Friday,
need
that's
to
the
keep...
wrong button. I'm sorry about that. Oh my God, Kristen with the 1,000 stars. Thank you so much for your kindness there. Wow. I appreciate it. Guys, if you don't know, stars are a way you can contribute to the WNK people. Thank you so much for your kindness there. So we do have the red is a high wind warning that is for Western Kentucky. In all fairness, I think that can easily be extended out to Bo with the 100 stars. Thank you so much. I think that can easily be extended out towards Central Kentucky as well. You have to remember, though, that these are 2 different National Weather Service offices. This is actually NWS Paducah. This is NWS Louisville. And then all the way out here toward Eastern Kentucky is NWS Jackson. They all try to flex their muscle on. I wish they would just talk and put the same thing out, because generally, guys, the entire state is at the risk of high winds tomorrow. High winds are 60 mile per hour or plus. Do I think this will be like March 3rd? I don't think we're quite there, but for some places, it'll be close. If you don't remember, back in early March, there was an extreme historical wind damage event that did occur in Kentucky, and it caused a lot of damages. And again, so out here in southeastern Kentucky, they have, a high wind warning there as well. So I don't know why they just don't all make it one, but hey, to each their own, I suppose. Nonetheless, the risks are the same. Every single county in Kentucky has either a high wind warning or a wind advisory that will likely later be upgraded to a high wind warning. The reason for that is we have almost a carbon copy system to come tomorrow. Basically, what we saw Tuesday. So I want to kind of just roll you through here. We're on the wrong timing here. So again, if you're just not tuning in, first of all, welcome in. I am George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here for WNK. We're going to be talking about the system coming in tomorrow. The effects we'll feel from that. We're going to lightly address the potential snowmaker for MLK Day because I know there's a lot of misinformation being spread about that as well. So buckle in, a lot to cover here. Thank you guys for all the shares on Facebook. Over there on YouTube, thank you for all the thumbs ups and all the new subscribers as well. Thank you guys on both platforms. So I'm going to pull this up real quick, and then we'll zoom it into the local view so that you can kind of see more about your specific county and city. But overall, I kind of just want to get a very general look here. So crazy map here. This basically shows us where the low pressures are, the pieces of energy, how the storms are moving through, yada, yada, yada. So we're going to kind of skip this on through here. Our piece of energy is actually right here. This is just for the Friday system at this moment, okay? We got to get through that first, and then we'll talk about the Sunday and Monday system. So almost a carbon copy of what we saw earlier in the week. We'll see low pressure get close to the western Kentucky border, and then it will scoot its way to the north, causing blizzard-like conditions to our friends in the northwest. And for us, I'm actually going to zoom this into the regional view here so that we can see a little bit better. For us, on this particular system, this is not the Sunday and Monday system. This is Friday Friday actually starting here in a few hours and then going into Friday. This is this system. Our main concern is rain, plentiful rain of 1 to 2 inches, as well as winds. But there is a small window that's beginning to show up Friday afternoon. I kind of want to go ahead and zoom this into the local view here, and then we'll show you the winds and whatnot. I'm going to switch the reflectivity over. So this is valid for taking you through the timing, 2 to 3 a.m. tomorrow. So what's that? 5 or 6, 7 hours from now. That's when the onslaught of rain will begin. This will be non-severe. However, the winds will really start to kick up. I'll show you those in a moment as well. The onslaught of rain really begins and slowly just trucks its way through Kentucky. This is actually valid for 11 a.m. Central Time, noon Eastern Time. You can see really heavy showers ongoing. So if you are traveling throughout tomorrow morning, be on alert. Really heavy showers mixed with really heavy winds is going to create a lot of bad traffic concerns. If you can, work from home or stay home tomorrow like a lot of schools are doing. That is why a lot of schools are closing. Buses really can't handle that wind like that, guys. They're big. They have a really tall opening underneath the vehicles. Allows them to just be getting pushed left and right. So that's why a lot of schools are already canceling for tomorrow. So if you can, stay off the roadways as well. If not, slow down. Give yourself a little bit more time. You'll get there. You don't need to be in a hurry. I'm saying that because I drove throughout that rainstorm on Tuesday, and there are a lot of people driving like you know what, and there were a lot of accidents. All right, so just slow down. Anyway, pushing through here through the afternoon, Friday around 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. The rain's still ongoing. Then we'll see a little bit of a break. If there is a bit of a break and some sun starts to pop through, we do have a bit of a concern for a small window of severe weather toward north central and northeastern Kentucky, maybe even northwestern Kentucky as well. I don't know if they have enough time to get cleared out there, but especially for north central and northeastern Kentucky. You see these little blobs right here. These are indications of stronger storm cells. Now, the severe level will not be anything crazy. I'm not talking, I saw some people post a tornado threat. I don't really know where that came from. I think there is a tornado threat down towards the Tennessee area. For us in Kentucky, it would be more of a straight line wind threat. And the reason for that is I'm not seeing enough movement in the winds above our heads going different directions. I'm just not. There's also a small cap that should start to build in very rapidly, which would really minimize the window of severe weather, which is why I keep saying it's a very small window. If there is a severe weather threat, hang on, too much coffee. There we go. If there is a severe weather threat, it would be between 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. And again, it would exist for like north central, northeastern Kentucky, basically places from Louisville to Elizabethtown, back toward maybe let's say Owensboro to Hardinsburg, going up toward Lexington, but not really getting to Lexington. That general north central, northern half of the state, that's where it would exist for. And the severe threat would likely be 70 mile per hour winds at that point. I do want to show you that even if you don't find yourself in a severe cell, winds tomorrow will be severe level. And the reason for that is Mike pointed this out really well to me earlier. If you don't, Mike, our other weather member here, our other forecaster, he pointed this out to me really well earlier. The 850 millibar winds, basically winds that will exist 5,000 feet above our head where our jet stream usually survives. They'll be cranking anywhere between 75 to 85 knots, which is anywhere between 85 to 90 mile per hour. Now, those winds should stay above our heads, but if a severe cell does get going, some of those winds could be transported down to the surface, thus creating a threat for 70 mile per hour winds in some locations. However, overall, the winds should be between 45 to 55 mile per hour. Let me go ahead and pull this up for you. Even outside of the storm. So this is actually valid for around 7 a.m. rush hour traffic. We're seeing 40 to 50 mile per hour winds existing for pretty much the I-65 corridor, basically from Nelson County or Bullitt County down toward Bowling Green, going back toward Hopkinsville, those areas. And then it really starts to expand beyond that point. Around lunchtime here, you can see widespread 45 to even 60 mile per hour winds. Again, the reason for the concern for high winds tomorrow is a valid one. I do think there will be quite a bit of wind damage. So if you do have anything you are scared of losing, you might want to go out there and secure it down right after this video. So again, noon is where the winds really peak out. And then again, that small time frame from 2 to 5 p.m., we do see another burst of winds that actually is showing a 70 mile per hour wind gust up toward that Ohio River area, and then down toward the Radcliffe Elizabethtown area is showing between 60 and 65 mile per hour. If a severe cell can get going, winds can be even faster than that. To put that in perspective, the wind damage event that we saw back in March, winds were between a sustained 70 to 80 mile per hour for a long period of time. This won't be quite that event, but it'll try to approach those levels. So I don't think this is quite that event once more. But it is pretty close. So that's event number one. By the way, total rainfall totals, we're kind of looking at, again, general 1 to 2 inches. The highest rainfall totals will absolutely be felt on the western Kentucky side. That's because that front, that low pressure, will actually undergo a bit of cyclogenesis. So that means that storm system will actually stall out in western Kentucky a little bit longer before it gets to moving throughout Kentucky. So that's why you see the higher rainfall totals over here toward Paducah, going up toward Henderson and approaching Owensboro, slightly falling off as you go east, and barely a quarter of an inch to a half inch out there for our eastern Kentucky friends. So that's kind of how the rainfall totals are shaping up there. Before I get into this next system on Sunday and Monday that everyone wants to hear and talk about, and again, I understand why. It's probably our best, and now this is not my forecast, okay? I want to make that very clear, but this is our best chance at measurable snowfall in quite some time, okay? Does that mean it's going to happen? Absolutely not. But this is our best chance the way the pattern is shaping up, and I'll break that down for you here in about 30 seconds. Before that, though, I'm going to give you a quick message from our new sponsor, Box Drop Bardstown. All right. Thank you so much to them. I appreciate them. They're brand new to us, guys. So if you haven't already, please go follow their page. That would help us out greatly. When you guys support them, more people want to work with us, the more things that we can do for you guys. Take a real quick second here. Karen says hello for Somerset. Thank you so much for that. Again, we are going to talk about that Monday into Tuesday system, or a Sunday into Monday, I should say. But the models are kind of all over the place. So I just want to start with that. I'm going to put this out to the national view real quick as well here. We're going to cover that in just one second. I want to get some of your questions real quick. Looks like I'm going to tie everything down, tables and swings. That's a good idea, Kayla. It's a good idea. JT says, what about Paducah? 1 to 2 inches of rainfall throughout the entire day, or throughout the entire morning on Friday. 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts at times as well. So I expect that to be an annoying morning for most out there. No school Monday. It's a holiday. Thank you for that, Jerry. I appreciate that. We're talking about tomorrow, though. Taylor County. Hello. Bowling Green, hello. All right, I think we're going to get to make sure I didn't miss anyone. Okay, perfect. Thank you guys for all the shares on Facebook. Let's get to the system that everyone is wanting to talk about. It's been a buzz system because, again, there's been a lot of folks that haven't really had. I think if I remember correctly, it has been over 700 days since the majority of Kentucky has seen a measurable snowfall. Let that sink in for a second. I know a lot of folks saw a lot of sleet last Christmas, and then there were some folks that saw a measurable snowfall last Christmas. But for the majority of Kentucky, it's been over 700 days since we've seen a measurable snowfall of at least 1 inch. Someone asked what time does that start in the morning? Sheila, about 2 to 3 a.m., depending upon where you're at. Could be a little bit later, a little bit earlier. But 2 to 3 a.m. Eastern time is the general time frame for tomorrow morning. But moving on to the next system here for Sunday into Monday. The models have been all over the place, guys. Been all over the place. So I want to make sure that I caution you again. This is not a forecast, okay? This is not a forecast. But I want to show you just quickly here. This is the Icon model. I'm going to show you all 4 models here. The European, the GFS, the GDPS, and the Icon. These are the 4 main global models here. Short-range models haven't really got a hold of this yet. When they do, we'll have a better idea, and we expect that to be able to occur late Friday going into Saturday morning. So look for our forecast either late Friday night or Saturday morning. That's when we will issue our first call, okay? But overall, here is that system talking about for tomorrow. Icon sees that the same way as every other model does. Very good agreement for tomorrow. Saturday into Sunday is where things quickly change. What I want to point out to you real quickly is if I go up to the 850 millibar, you can see the temperatures that we're expecting. I'm actually going to, why in the world? My siblings are something else sometimes. But I'm going to actually point this out to you. So this is what we're dealing with. And this is why models have not had a good control of this system for Sunday into Monday. This is Siberian level cold air that will be driving down into the United States. It'll actually start to battle with Gulf of Mexico warmth and moisture, and it will eventually beat Gulf of Mexico warmth and moisture, and that causes a lot of issues. Models don't do very well when they're having to decipher different levels of moisture at different layers of the atmosphere, and doing that when you're dealing with Arctic air does not equal a great consensus consensus of data for us to be able to put out a forecast. But I'll show you each general idea. So this icon model has Arctic air diving down into the United States Friday night going into Saturday morning. That system that moves through tomorrow will actually open the door for cold air, and cold air will take advantage of it. I mean, just look at this. This is absolutely insane. And then by Monday into Tuesday, you're looking at, you know, temperatures in Kentucky being about 20 to 25 degrees, maybe even 30 degrees below average. If you don't know, the average of Kentucky is about 30 degrees for January. A little bit more, a little bit less, give or take, depending upon where exactly you're at. But that's the general average, is about the mid 30s. So we're talking about temperatures that are almost 0 degrees. And in fact, if we do get a bit of a snowpack, they will go below 0 for Tuesday and Wednesday. And I do think even if we don't get very much snowfall out of the system, wind chills on Tuesday and Wednesday look absolutely insanely cold. We're talking about wind chills that could be negative 15 to negative 25 degrees, which I believe is cold enough to cancel school because frostbite sets in within 15 minutes. We're talking about extremely cold air here that even surpasses the level of cold air that we saw last Christmas, although a lot of people were asking about that. So we're talking about cold that surpasses the level of last Christmas. All right, so that's kind of what we're dealing with. When you're dealing with that level of cold coming into Kentucky, it throws model data off quite a bit because Arctic air is a lot more dense. It's a lot more dry than your typical cold air in Kentucky. And so models have a really tough time of understanding that, being able to disperse moisture correctly. So I'm going to show you the general idea here from the icon model, and then we'll switch over to the GFS model, okay? So the icon model has that freezing line all the way down to the southern row of states by Sunday morning, and this will set up an event to be able to come off of the California and Washington coast out there, and that'll actually dive down in toward the Oklahoma and Texas area and start to create our snow event. So this is actually valid for Sunday night going into Monday morning, right around the 1 a.m. time frame. This model in particular has snow beginning out in western Kentucky. What you're going to notice is the snow is not going to look very hard, okay? This is about as hard as it's going to get. This very light, faint blue. But when I show you the temperatures, it's cold. It's cold. So this is Kentucky once again. This is the start of our event. The start, okay? It shows temperatures, and I do have high confidence in this, by the way. This shows temperatures at about 15 degrees, if not 10 degrees or single digits by Monday morning or the start of our event. What that does is create a scenario where we have higher snow ratios occurring than usual. When you talk about snow ratio, for those of you that don't know what a snow ratio is, basically it's the equivalent of liquid in snow form. So an average snow ratio for Kentucky is about 10 to 1. Basically meaning for about every 10 inches of snow, you have 1 inch of liquid to go with it. When you're talking about snow ratios of 20 to 1, about that area, you can double the amount of snow you get per inch of liquid. So basically, instead of getting 2 inches of snow from 0.25 inches of rain, I don't know, but this is a lot of math here. You can get 4 inches of snow from that because you're doubling it. The cold air is squeezing it out at a much more efficient rate. I hope that makes sense. That's very tough to explain sometimes. Someone says no ice, please. I don't think we're worrying about ice for this event, by the way. I don't really see any concern at all. Temperatures are way too cold. It would either be snow or nothing. So when you're talking about this event, we're not going to see super heavy snowfall, but we could see hours and hours of very efficient snowfall. So for this model, an example, I'm actually going to zoom this into the regional view here so you can kind of see for yourself. So this is valid for Monday around 1 a.m. And you're going to see just not very heavy snowfall. But again, this is 6 hours, 12 hours. About 12 hours of efficient snowfall could occur. And then as it moves up to the East Coast, it shows another wave coming in on Tuesday morning that could be even more efficient snowfall. So that is one general idea. I will show you the snow depth. I'm not going to show you the snow amounts because that would just be flat out irresponsible. But I will show you the snow depth. Now, again, realistically, if snowfall is to occur on Sunday and Monday, snow totals would be higher than what is displayed right here. Okay, that's just realistic. But again, general idea from this model is about 3 to 5 inches of snowfall for pretty much the entire state of Kentucky. It could very easily be more than that. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch to the GFS model. So model number 2 here. So this model has a pretty unique idea that started. So this is the GFS model. Let me go ahead and take a drink of water real quick. This model displayed an idea last night that actually Mike caught on to, that the rest of us missed at first. He noticed that what we call a shortwave would be introduced the latter part of the event and create a little bit more moisture on the backside if the low pressure is to drive up the Appalachian Mountains, and I'll show you that. So I'm actually going to forward this on through here. So this is Kentucky right here for those of you that have a hard time seeing. My cursor right here, just remember this. This is Kentucky right here. Okay, so for this, again, kind of just starts as a weak event coming off of the California, Oregon side of the West Coast there. Sunday night, dropping down towards central United States by Monday morning. The time frames are pretty consistent, guys. Sunday night into Monday morning into Monday afternoon. That time frame looks to be a pretty consistent one. However, the GFS has this a lot more south. So if you remember on the icon model at this same time, all of Kentucky was covered in snowfall. On this model, it doesn't really have all of Kentucky under snowfall at this time. As I push this on forward a little bit, it starts to get Western Kentucky a little bit more involved. Make sure you guys can see it okay. Yeah, you can. It starts to get Western Kentucky a little bit more involved, but again, not really a whole lot of anything. And then, by the late morning on Monday, then it finally starts to get the rest of Kentucky involved, but it doesn't last as long. It really cuts down on the moisture, and the reason for that is, like Mike was telling me, and like I agree with him, the short wave that's actually out here toward the central United States will start to interact with this system and start to shove it. And this system's going to want to come up the Appalachian Mountains over here, but we have a high pressure on the right side that wants to try and ruin everything for us. But this low pressure will actually get a little bit strong enough to shove that high pressure out of the way and get it out here and create a secondary event. So as I push this on forward, you'll see that low pressure gets going. Notice the big H, the high pressure, start to get shoved out of the way. Now it's gone. And this low pressure will actually back on to the eastern coast here and shove the precipitation back over to Kentucky. Again, not a very heavy precipitation, but because it's going to be so cold, we're talking about temperatures at this point, they'll be in the single digits or the low teens. So you're talking about a very efficient snowfall. It doesn't have to be anything hard. We don't have to get a whole lot of liquid for this in order to be a winter storm, technically. By the way, for a winter storm in Kentucky, you're looking at 4 inches or more within a 24-hour period. Okay? And so then the low pressure kind of just drifts off the northeastern coast. However, hours and hours and hours of light but efficient snowfall does occur in Kentucky beyond that point. What I'm going to show you now as well is the snowfall totals that it is trying to spit out from this model. Again, we still have 2 more models to look at here. So I'm going to zoom this on forward here. That first wave, nothing really impressive. Second wave starts to get going, and then it backs it on up to the Kentucky area. And we're looking at a general, again, 3 to 5 inches. Very similar to the icon model. They did have it in a little bit of a different location. However, there's some general consistency there. So we have the icon model and the GFS model trying to get to an agreeing level, but they're not quite there yet. Again, if snowfall is to occur, these would probably be the lighter side of the numbers, okay? I'm only showing you snow depth, not the actual snow ratios mixed in with everything. When you're talking about more efficient snowfall, this will likely be a higher number, but I'm going to be a little bit more conservative tonight and show you the lowest end of what to expect, okay? Next model is the European model. The reason I say this for third is because this has a completely different idea that no other model has shown yet. So personally, I am throwing this model out the garbage right now, okay? It's going out with the dinner garbage at the moment. This model has a history of doing really well at long range, basically from 140 to 240 hours, or I wouldn't say 240, I would say 140 to 200 hours. And then between 80 to 140 hours, which is where we're at right now, it tends to lose the storm, like completely lose. I'm not sure if it goes on vacation or what, but this has been a theme for this model ever since it has existed. So at this time, we're going to kind of throw it out, but for the sake of transparency, I am going to show you this. Okay, and so again, like the other models, it shows that same system for Friday and Saturday. Sally, that is a loaded question, but I'll answer that for you in a second. And then Saturday night, it does have the event starting to get going out there to the West Coast, so to quickly dive on into the Central United States. However, you will notice that this is much, much, much more south than any other model. It doesn't have Kentucky getting hardly any snowfall. Actually, I'm on the wrong run here. Here we go. But it doesn't have Kentucky getting any snowfall. It might get a little bit on the backside as it rolls up the East Coast here, but absolutely nothing. So that is one possible theory. So that's why I'm telling you, I want to show you every single model here, because is it possible that happens? Absolutely. Do I think it's likely that Kentucky gets zero snowfall out of this event? I don't think it is, because there's too many parameters that are met. Basically, we have a really deep Arctic cold blast. We have Gulf moisture that wants to interact with a low pressure and a short wave. There are too many boxes that are ticked for me to think that Kentucky gets zero snowfall from this event, okay? So we are throwing that model out the window, but I wanted to show you that because, as Sally kind of alluded to, she kind of took away my what do they call that? Segue. The ECMWF, try saying that fast, / European model, which is what we're looking at currently, traditionally is the best model. However, it does have a tendency, like we just talked about, to completely lose a system between 80 to 140 hours. I'm not sure what it is, and there are actually a lot of people in the weather industry. Joe and Rhonda, thank you for the 99 stars. I appreciate that. There are actually a lot of people in the weather industry that are just as baffled as me. It has done this all winter. It has done this all fall. It did it quite a bit in the spring. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if someone made a bad update to the model. But for some reason, this model it is technically the most accurate model when you go back and look at things. But for some reason, in that mid-range, it just loses it. It just loses it. So to answer Sally's question, and you don't have to be sorry about that. It's a great question, by the way. Each model has its own things that it's good at. The ICOM model actually does really well with severe weather. The European model does really well with temperature profiles, typically. The GFS model does really well with moisture levels. So what you do as a forecaster is you kind of look at what each model is good at, take that average, and you start to trend it over each run. You don't look at each run as one individual run. You start to look at them as trends. So the last model here, and this one is a juicy one, and it has been, I will tell you, Joe and Rhonda with another 200 stars. Thank you for your kindness. So this is the last model here, and this is the GDPS, aka the GEM, aka the Canadian model, okay? It is as it sounds. This model does do well with cold weather. Don Gray with 100 stars. You guys are going nuts with the love tonight. Thank you a ton for y'all's kindness. Shauna, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate that. So this model, being from Canada, is as it sounds. It does do really well with Arctic blast and cold air, okay? And out of all the models, going back and looking at it, I spent about 3 hours today, this morning, going through all the old runs over the last 72 hours. And out of all the models that we look at, this model has been the most consistent. Although it did have a small shift on today's run, or this afternoon's run. It did have a small shift, but it wasn't anything dramatic. And it has been the most consistent model. It's also the best model to handle an event like this. Does that mean that this model will be accurate in what it's about to display to you? I have no idea. I'm not a future teller. I wish I was. That would make me very good at my job. But I will tell you, it has the best ability. But this model does sometimes tend to overdo water amounts, which can inflate snowfall amounts. So this model is going to be the most juiced model for this event on Sunday and Monday. But it might not be the most accurate. I just want to put that out there to you. But then again, any of these models right now have been absolute, you know what, but I can't say that because I try to keep it PG, okay? So, to roll this through here, it does also see this Friday and Saturday system that we talked about, okay? Then it scoots its way on through. What I want you to note is how quickly this occurs. Remember, I don't know if you remember because I don't know if you're paying attention to the timing up here in the top left, but this is actually happening quicker over here. And that's what you, if you're a snow lover, what you want is for this to gather itself a lot quicker. The problem on the European model and the GFS model, and those two models specifically, it takes a little bit longer for this low pressure in this system to get its act together. And by that time, the cold air goes so far south, it actually shoves it down south. So what you want is for this model to get its act, or not this model, for this system to get its act together quicker and become a snow system, okay? And the Canadian model does show that. So to push this on forward here, it actually transfers all of its moisture or all of its forcing from over here down toward the Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas areas. And then the Gulf moisture from below it to the south is actually going to be able to influence as well. And it'll spark like that. And it'll create a snow event for some. Icing in Texas and Arkansas is probably a big bet. So if you have any friends down there, make sure you give them a heads up. And we're talking about an icing event that could be all the way down toward the Mexico and USA border, which is nuts to think about. And then an onslaught of a snow event up toward Missouri, northern Arkansas, and western Kentucky. And then that's eventually going to shift its way on east a little bit. Again, remember, Kentucky's right here. And what you're going to notice is the heaviest of the snowfall is down toward the Tennessee and Arkansas area. However, they're going to be hovering around 32 degrees. So their snowfall is going to be what we call less efficient. Meaning, once again, their snow ratios are going to be lower, meaning they're going to get less snowfall per inch. Whereas in Kentucky, the snowfall is going to be lighter. But according to this model, the snow ratios are 15 to 20 to 1, a very efficient snowfall. The very dry snowfall that you can almost take a broom to and just sweep off of your car or your deck. We're talking very dry, powdery snowfall. Unfortunately, not good for sledding or snowballs. But there's a trick that I think you throw some vinegar and water on it or whatever, something like that. I don't know. You'd have to look it up. But there's a trick to get it a little bit more saturated. But you'll see hours and hours of snowfall. And then it also shows what's very interesting about this is it also agrees with the GFS model that the low pressure will actually track up the eastern coast. It's the only other model that shows it. And it's been consistent with it. And now that we've seen the GFS trend toward that, we have to give a little bit more credibility to this Canadian model, which usually gets the least amount of credibility because it has been on this idea since the beginning of this, since this has been on model data, right? So since the GFS is trending toward this, and by the way, the Icon model is starting to trend toward this as well, we have to give a little bit more credibility to the Canadian model. Does that mean it's going to be the best model for Sunday and Monday? We have to wait to find out on that. But I'll show you the overall snowfall depth that it's showing for this. Again, I'm showing you the depth, not the snowfall totals. It's a little bit different. Snowfall totals would likely be a little bit higher than the snowfall depth. But to be a little bit more responsible, I'm going to show you the snow depth. And for the Canadian model, again, right here's probably a good bet here. So again, it does show a 3 to 5 inch swath throughout Kentucky as well. So what you're seeing is that the low end of 3 out of the 4 models is 4 inches. The high end is much higher than that. But again, I'm not going to get into the high end of this event because we just don't know just yet if that's even a probable case. But if you ask me, George, at this time, are you confident in snowfall occurring? Absolutely. Are you confident in measurable snowfall? Absolutely. There's only one model that's not displaying snowfall. And in fact, 3 out of the 4 models for the majority of Kentucky does currently display a winter storm. Does that mean it's going to occur? We have absolutely no idea until Friday night going into Saturday, whenever we get a little bit more close range data coming in. So don't go buy up the Walmarts and the Costco's and Targets and everything just yet, because again, we just don't know. I only showed you raw model data, which to some is irresponsible, but there's so many people spewing whatever out there. I want to make sure you're at least getting it from a credible source. And I just want you to know that, again, while these models and stuff show a specific number, we are still 4 days away from this event. A lot, as we know in Kentucky, can change in those 4 days. So just stay tuned to the forecast. We'll have plenty of videos going. I've already got a scheduled broadcast for Saturday night as well. I plan on creating Hello? What the world? My mic just decided to like stop for a second. I don't know what that was about. At least we got through the good chunk of the video. Maybe it's trying to tell me, hey, we've been on here for 40 minutes, guys. Oh my goodness. I don't know what happened. My mic just turned off. Whatever. But just to wrap up, I just wanted to let you guys know that this is just raw model data. This is not our forecast. Don't go buy up the Audis, the Walmarts and stuff yet, because I know a lot of you like to do that. Which is no fault there. Everyone likes to be prepared. And listen, hey, if we get to the point where we have enough confidence in this occurring, I'll put out a post out. I'll tell you to go buy up the Walmarts and stuff. But just trust me, don't do it just yet, because there's still a lot of time left for this thing to change. And as we've seen in Kentucky several times, it very well could skip us. Do I think it's going to happen? No. I do think we see measurable snowfall from this event Sunday into Monday. But I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong more in the future. So you never really know. Ashley says, got my milk. But milk and bread sandwiches are the best. You know, Cody, I've actually never understood. I never really understood why it's the milk and bread everyone goes to. I don't know. For me, you got to go toward canned food. Because you never really know. I don't know why. I don't know how much snow right now. Again, models are displaying 3 to 5 inches, but again, way too early to put any real confidence into that, guys. Me either. So, any questions besides snowfall amounts? AccuWeather, Dallery, AccuWeather is a cuss word to me. I don't, guys. You guys can don't get me started on weather apps. Just don't. I mean, truly, when is the last time you looked at a weather app and it's been truly accurate besides the temperature on that day? I mean, really. Don't get me started. I'm making chili sounds good. Make sure you send some to me. In case there's no electricity, you can eat a PB&J. I love PB&J. French toast, one of my favorite breakfast items. Never. I know. I don't know. Even Mark Weinberg from WDRB put a tweet out the other day that said they don't alterate their forecast on their weather apps. They're automated. They're by a computer. You might as well just go ahead and look at the model data. If you don't believe me, go to Mark Weinberg's Twitter. He said it himself. That's what I'm telling you guys. Your apps are not humanly altered. They're just equations. And that's how they get you. How much snow is your guess? Daniel, too early for my guess, my friend. Sally, unfortunately, if we do see the snow on Sunday and Monday, it'll be the very dry, fine, powdery snow. So you're going to have to do a little bit of work to it in order for it to get to a good sledding level. Yes, Catherine, you are right at the roll for me, if you're talking to me. Oh, because you were talking about your chili. Yes. I'm good now. I'm sorry, trying to do 2 different broadcasts at once, and we've had over 30,000 minutes viewed in this video. We've only been live for 40 minutes, so it's been an insane video. Thank you guys for your support. The page has been going absolutely crazy lately. The YouTube is blowing up. If you haven't followed us already on YouTube, go do that as well. We've been doing more content over there. We're on Twitter, aka X, at WeatherNowKY. Follow us over there. We're doing a giveaway over there when we reach 500 followers. I think we're at like almost 400. So lots of cool stuff going on. Make sure you're following us everywhere. Maybe Snow and I'll bring you chili. That's funny. I wish. Guys, you're not going to find a very big, more of a snow lover than me. I promise you. How long will it stick around if it does snow? Sheila, that's a great question. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Temperatures look like they're going to be below freezing for at least 3 or 4 days after this event. I'm not kidding, guys. The cold, I didn't really show you that, did I? Let me go ahead and show you that. And I'll stick with this model as well. So I want to show you the temperatures that we're looking at post-event. So this right here is actually valid for Saturday. And you can already see it's starting to get cold. And this is actually dead afternoon on Saturday. This is not a low temperature. This is likely going to be, your high on Saturday. Somewhere in the mid-20s, okay? So we're already starting to get cold starting Saturday. And then Sunday just gets even colder. I mean, this is dead afternoon on Sunday. This is going to be likely your high. So your high on E-Town on Sunday will likely be 20 or 19 degrees. Your high in southeastern Kentucky will likely be 35 degrees. Your high toward Henderson, Kentucky, likely going to be 14 to 15 degrees. When you're talking about Monday, or this is actually the start of the event, so you're looking at single digits for northwestern Kentucky, low to mid-teens for the good chunk of Kentucky, and then mid to upper 20s for eastern Kentucky. But then you're talking about after the event, it just continues to get colder. These are real temperatures, chat. Or these are not wind chills. I don't want to show you the wind chills. You're just gonna freeze looking at them. Okay, these are actual temperatures. Now this again, models will take the temperature even lower if they do detect a snowpack. Okay, so remember the Canadian model had 3 to 5 inches for us. It is detecting a snowpack, so it is taking the temperatures a little bit lower here. So these might be a smidge too low if we don't end up seeing snow. If we do end up seeing snow, these will be accurate. -6 out there for Henderson, -8 in Paducah, -0, which I'm not even sure is a possible thing in E-Town. 10 degrees out there toward Eastern Kentucky, -3 down toward Bowling Green. Brutal temperatures Tuesday morning. Your high for Tuesday, by the way, for this model in particular, your high for Tuesday is 1 degree. So, so temperatures, are going to be absolutely brutal. This might be overdoing it a smidge, but you kind of get the general idea. And these are not wind chills; these are real temperatures, guys. Your low for Wednesday morning looking like -3, -2, -0, which again, I don't even know if that's a thing, but that's what the model's showing. And then you're talking about the next time we go above freezing. Man, you're going, the next time we go above freezing, it doesn't even show it on this model run. So that's what I'm telling you guys. The story to me is more so the lingering cold air than anything, because this actually goes out to the 21st. I can go to the GFS model real quick, and we can take a look and see. So the GFS model, let me go to the newer run here. So the GFS model, let's go ahead and forward this on through. 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, right there. There you go. The 23rd of January is when we go above freezing in Western Kentucky, but not for the rest of the state. There we go. The 23rd. That is your answer. So from the 14th, or not the 14th, I'm sorry, the 13th to the 23rd, models have Kentucky staying under freezing for that entire time frame. Now, can that be egregious? Absolutely. You're talking about something 10 days out from now, 12 days out from now. That could easily change. But that just kind of gives you an idea of the level of cold we're dealing with. A lot of people wanted to compare this back to Christmas. Absolutely not. This is way worse than that, okay? Not because of necessarily the temperatures, but because of how long it's looking to last. And by the way, during that time frame, there are more snow chances as well, but I'm not going to get into those until we get past this weekend, or else we're just getting way too far ahead of ourselves. So that's I think it's kind of it for this broadcast. I really do. I think we did a good job covering everything. Shout out to Mike for helping me with the wind threat. Mike Sills, by the way. New partner with us, or new forecaster with us, I should say. Thank you to our new partners, Box Drop, Bardstown, and Right Implement as well. If we do have if we do put out a forecast that snow is coming, make sure you visit Right Implement. They have a lot of snow equipment, over 15 locations to choose from. Great people. Phenomenal customer service, by the way. Phenomenal. And that's not even an ad. That's my personal experience. Phenomenal customer service. So if that's important to you, Right Implement's far better than any other place to get your equipment and stuff from. Box Drop, Bardstown, 30 to 80% off of retail prices for brand new bedding and stuff. And you get a free pillow if you mention my name or W&K. I just go get my free pillow. Now you have to make a purchase, of course. You have to make a purchase. But absolutely. Great companies to work with. We need snow if it's going to be that is exactly my thinking, John and Christy. We need snow if it's going to be that cold. Anyway, I'm out on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. On Facebook, thank you for all y'all's love. We've hit over 100 shares, over 240 reactions. That's amazing. Thank you guys a ton for all of your support there. Also, all the people that send stars, thank you so much. Need to refill on your tea. I actually had a little bit of water today, but I think I've wet my water quota. I'm going to go get some sweet tea. You guys take care. Stay warm. I'll post updates for you. We'll have a little bit of an update for tomorrow out later on tonight. And then after the event tomorrow, we'll start posting more about Sunday and Monday. But one event at a time for us is just enough. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here for W&K. Until next time, stay safe, Kentucky.